This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production.
Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. You are in for a treat. The energy we have today is going to be unmatched because of who we have the pleasure of speaking with. We're talking about the bossy baddie, CEO of Turn Up Dance Fitness, who only needs to be introduced by one name, Tanci. Tanci!
Yay!
Thank you so much for being here. We are so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. If you guys could see these cuties right now, like your smiles, and I just feel very honored and happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, and if anybody listening doesn't know Tanci, well, if you follow us, you do, because we post her a lot. Because, well, Brooke and I feel like if we could say Tanci brings one thing to us, it's energy. Like when you're like groggy and you like need a pick me up, Tanci is the answer. If you just go through her TikToks or her reels, it is showing you like a female that owns her body, sensuality. She's fit, she's strong, and she not only shows that through dance, but then you also have a podcast with your sister where you talk about real life struggles and how you got through tough times. So many things that we look up to and what we're trying to do as well. And so we are, and we're going to say it a million times, are so grateful for your time with all that you're doing. We're so happy that you're here.
I am so happy to be here. I think that like it takes one to know one. Like you guys are doing that for other people, and you see that in me because you are that. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. We're just fangirling over here. So I know you all are thinking, okay, let's follow her quick. So take out your phone and go to social media, Instagram, TikTok at Turn Up with Tanci, and you'll know what we're talking about, or tune into the YouTube to get this energy. But for people who don't know you, Tanci, let's start from the beginning because you have quite the story, quite the journey. Take us back to younger you. Were you always this fiery, confident, fun? What was your childhood like?
So I think I've definitely always been like the hardest worker in the room. Like I think that I can say that with confidence. Like I just have always been that, but I haven't always been this confident at all by any means. I think I actually played the role of being a hard worker and then allowed other people to take on the things that I really wanted, but also felt like I was unworthy of them. So even like playing basketball. So I played basketball growing up. Like that's all I cared about. I say this all the time. Basketball and boys was like, that was it. That's all I cared about. And I was the hardest worker on that court. Like I was the one diving for balls, getting my knees scratched up, like setting the best screens for my teammates. But I also didn't have the confidence to be the one scoring the ball when the ball was in my hands. Like I let other people do that job because I just felt like uncomfortable in having that spotlight. I think, I don't know. I just, there's a comfort in giving someone else that opportunity rather than me being that person. And I like that about myself, but also there had to come a point in my life where I was like, give me the ball and watch what I do with it type of thing. And I had to develop that in myself and recognize that it was kind of, I was sleeping on myself by not recognizing that I could be that person that's assisting my team and doing their best while still being the version of myself that takes risks on taking my own shots, like taking shots. I mean, in metaphorically speaking and on the court. So basketball, I really think is what raised me and made me the person I am today. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. Like I played college basketball, and when that ended, I was like, what now? Like I don't want to do anything else. But I had to graduate college at some point. Took me a few extra semesters, but I figured it out. And then I became a school teacher because that's the only way that I knew that I could keep basketball in my life. So I was like, that's all I know. That's all I want. And so I became a school teacher so that I could still coach basketball. And it was a great chapter of my life. I think what happens is that's all I knew. Like my brain had not been exposed to the other ways of which I could keep that same drive and energy and competition and all the things that I did on the court. Like there are so many ways that you can pursue what you love that we don't even realize. Like opening my mind to what's possible rather than just, well, you can either do, sales, be a school teacher, or go to school for this. Like thinking outside the box is eventually what I was exposed to, and started thinking bigger and differently. And I remember I would teach school all day. I would coach my practices or games, get home super late, make dinner for my now ex-husband. And that at some point, I wouldn't always make dinner. Let's just put that out there. That was not an always thing, but I definitely made dinner a lot more back then. But and then I would work on my business. Like when everyone else would like chill or watch TV or go party on the weekends, I was like obsessed with learning how to build a business and do that. And I did that for a few years before I eventually developed the strength through, I think, pursuing that, through learning and really recognizing that I had all the resources available to me to do it. Like it was just taking advantage of those resources and believing in myself again and shooting the shots. That I eventually developed the strength to recognize that I was doing things that I was good at as a teacher and a coach, but I wasn't living to the fullest. Like I was staying safe in a job with a salary and what I knew I could have a safe career in and just, settle down into and develop, earn my pension or whatever it is. And there was just something inside of me that was like, you're supposed to be something, do something more. And that would not go away, like that feeling. And I think I have always had that. Like I've always loved performing. I've always loved really making an impact and all those things. And I'm talking a lot, but I think that's the gist, is I just followed my heart really all the time. Like my heart was in basketball. I followed that. My heart was in seeing what else was out there. I followed that. Like that's how I got here, is following my heart and chasing it with tenacity and passion, of which I appreciate you guys seeing in me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think a big part of that, you see the success of that, right? And you have these success stories, but a lot of people don't talk about some of the sacrifices you have to make along the way, right? You lose relationships, you have to move, you have, and not just like romantic relationships, but friendships. When you start to own and get more confident and take risks, people are like, who do you think you are? And so it's risky in a lot of ways to start to listen to that, because it changes everything. And so I'm curious for you, as you started to listen to that, what sacrifices, like what mess started to happen as you started to own your, as you say, ish?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we all try to avoid, right? Is like, when I think about the basketball player that I was, I didn't want to be the one that created that conflict of like, no, I want to score the ball, or like, I want to be the MVP. Like I want to be the one that has the ball in their hand when we need to win the game or whatever it is. Like I was afraid of being that, and taking it away from someone else, or creating a conflict with my teammates that I was like, you could just have it, whereas when I stopped doing that, like you do have messiness and conflict that occurs. And I think I've been really lucky to have people who support me, but I also think I just see it that way. Like I only focus on the people that are showing me love and supporting me. But when I really do look at it, there's some hurt there from people that I've lost along the way who were rooting for me when I was nobody, but then when I started to come up, didn't mess with me anymore. And I mean, I could literally, I probably have one, maybe two people who I taught with who still like are following my journey closely, because they took it personally. They took it like, oh, this isn't enough for you. Like, you think that what we're doing is settling and you're going to go do this. And so I think, well, and I don't know, people take what you're doing personally, but you can't focus on that. And I have, there's a list of people that I can think of that where it really stings and hurts that like, they're not, that I'm not close to them anymore. And I miss that. And I wanted to bring them along with me, but it's a them thing. Mm-hmm. And what I recognize is, yes, I've lost some people, but the amount of people I've been able to impact. And I mean, when you pursue your gift, you come into contact with people who celebrate you like you guys are. Like, I got on this call and you guys were like, oh my gosh, your energy, like, if I didn't pursue what was on my heart, I wouldn't be here sitting with you guys speaking on a podcast. Like, yeah, I may have lost some people, but to me, like, I'm finding people by pursuing my gift. You are gifted with people that appreciate all that you're trying to become. And that is worth it to me.
We're your people. Like, yeah. Those aren't your people. If they can embrace your gift, like, it's not even a question if it's a gift. You know, it's not even like, it is. You take one look at you on a dance floor and what you were doing. Like, there's this video I haven't shown my daughter today. I was like, watch how she dances. This isn't even part of the dance yet. This is the intro. And then she snaps her body up and then just gets right into the routine. It's like unbelievable. And so wow. I have so many questions about that too, about dance, because you are just meant to dance and like embody who you are in so many ways. But the dancing piece for Brooke and I, because we were both dancers, especially Brooke. Like, Brooke is like a real good dancer. But when it comes to you and embodying your gifts through dance, like, is that something you do all day? Is this like set aside time? Is this like your workout? Like, when are you dancing?
Yeah. So yeah, it is crazy because I did not grow up dancing.
That was going to be my question. How'd you go from basketball to moving your body like that?
You guys are awesome. This is the best. Thank you so much. I think playing basketball did somewhat set me up to be able to move. Like, you have to have footwork and agility, and also, like, we listen to good jams to get us hyped for our games. So I've always been like into the music, and we would, when I played in college, we would go out to the clubs and like get after it. But that was like the extent of my training up until I got out of college. And I didn't know who I was. Like, I had put so much of my identity into the game of basketball that I was very lost. Like, I wasn't, like, diagnosed depressed, but from what I know about what depression is, I believe that there was some of that in me. Like, I did not want to get out of bed. Like, I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to shower, like, which is so crazy because that's not who I am at all. But I had no motivation. I had no direction. And I was like, I got to work out. I need to stay in shape. I like to eat. Like, in basketball, they don't teach you to eat healthy. They just, like, we eat whatever we want and then go to practice and burn it off. So I was like, I gotta do something. So it's crazy because my mom was actually an aerobics instructor, but it's like subconsciously affected me. It's not like she put that on me. It's almost like I forgot that she even did that when we were young. but it was in me or something. But I ended up going to a dance fitness class. And I literally remember leaving that dance fitness class. They played, what's that Christina Aguilera and Pitbull song that's like
Dirty?
dancing. No.
Do you know that Dirty?
Yes. Where she's the boxer? That's Dirty.
Yeah, but that's not with Pitbull. It's like dancing for the moment or something.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yep.
in the moment, something like that. Anyways.
It got you in your moment.
It's just not that cool of a song, but I remember that song and being like, wait, you can work out and the beat at the same time. And like, what is this? And I walked away like dancing around the house and being like, oh my gosh, I had found that thing that lit me up the same way that basketball did. And it's just in me. I want to be the best. I'm going to work my ass off at whatever it is that I want. And I'm going to go above and beyond. So I don't think I even realized that I was at first putting in work to be a better dancer. I was just doing what I loved. And then as I started to build my own business, I realized that I needed to be a pro at what I was doing. And I wouldn't say that I dance every day. And when I do dance, I am you know how like you think of like artists who are creating like paintings and they're like in their room and it's messy and they're like insane and going crazy and like, oh, that's not good enough and da-da-da. Like that's how I feel like I dance. Like I am a psycho. I'm like a psycho perfectionist that I will do it 100 times until I feel like it's okay. And what I realize is by being that way, I've become a better dancer. Like I don't settle for, okay, I'm just going to get it up and say I put a post up today. Like I think that there is value in that. Like I need to learn that a little more of like just doing, like getting it up. I think I do that in other things of building a business, of doing it messy and just getting it out there. But there's an obsession with being better. I'm obsessed with being better at every single piece of what I do. And I think that's how I've all of a sudden become this person that I kind of can move a little better than I used to, you know? So I guess the long-winded answer to that is I work really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what that reminds me of too is building confidence. You are consistently showing up, whether it takes you a million times to perfect it and then post it, like you're still doing the work that it takes. Yeah. So I'm curious your take on confidence, how going from being a basketball player to now moving your body like this, how you have cultivated confidence in this process and also in building your own business.
Yeah. I think my first answer to that is, so I say this all the time in training instructors and in my workouts and stuff, like everything that I've done is earned, not given. And I think like I was not a skilled, like super skilled, naturally talented basketball player. Like no one in my family played basketball. I just decided that I loved it and went after it. Same thing with dance fitness. Like I didn't have training. No one pushed me in that direction. I had to start from the bottom in both of those areas. And like, I didn't chase after it because it was a trend. I don't do dance because it's TikTok. Like I don't do it because I want the applause. I do it because it's like in my freaking soul. And I just chase what's in there. And, I think because I've earned every piece of what I am doing, there's a confidence in that. And I think a lot of times we forget that. Like we want it to be easier. Like, oh, I just want this to come a little bit easier. And I can relate to that like so much. But everything that's been hard for me has been the reason why I'm confident, because I started where it was tough. And I think if you think of anyone with confidence, they've been through some shit. Like they've got some shit to them. And I mean, anyone, like you don't get confidence by just being there and thinking about being great. Like you have to be willing to make mistakes. Like you have to be willing to show up messy. You have to be willing to do it over and over and over again until you get it right. And I think that's what I'm really good at. Like I'm very persistent, and if I love it, I'm not going to stop. And I just think doing the hard thing, like dance fitness is a hard industry. Like it is. And sometimes I forget that, like everyone and their mom wants to start a dance fitness brand and name it their own thing. And it's competitive and it's judgy. And I mean, dance in itself, I'm sure you know that from being dancers, like, and then building your own business too. Same thing. Like it's cutthroat out here, man. So like when you just keep showing up through all that, you build confidence. And that's it's so hard to define. It's being willing to mess it up. And I'm willing to do that because I see the bigger picture and how I want to live and how I want to impact. And I'm not going to stop at anything to make that happen. So I don't know. Maybe you guys have a better answer.
Well, I think from what you're saying, it's like not just, I think with confidence, there's a lot of words to help describe it. And the theme of what you're saying is there's like some integrity behind being aligned with your values and what's calling you and pursuing it because it's your truth. And so it feels honest. Mm-hmm. And then having the ownership of I'm messing up, but it's okay because I'm going to keep working on it. And it's messy and it's not cute. I'm going to keep working on it. And I feel like you continually not quitting, build even more integrity so that you can be proud of yourself.
I keep seeing and thinking trust, like you're having trust in yourself because you know that you will show up. And I think a lot of people, they don't have that trust in themselves. They are second guessing themselves. And even if you don't know exactly how things will turn out, you know that you'll show up and give it your all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. People put so much emphasis on skill, on who you know, on the amount of followers, on things that are outside of themselves that I think come along with being persistent. But like, I think my confidence comes from no one's going to outwork me. And that's within my control. Like that, you can't outwork me, period. And that is not something that anyone can take away from me. And also, I know from experience, and I'm sure you guys know from experience too, from building your own podcast, that there can be a million people doing what you do, but no one can do it like you. Like people can take what you are trying to do and try to emulate it, but it'll never be the way you're doing it, and vice versa. And when you are so yourself and you work your butt off, like no one can take that from you. And that's where confidence comes from. So confidence is taken from us when we're putting emphasis on things that are outside of ourselves, you know? But I love the trust thing too. I would like to add that there is doubt in my mind every single day with what I'm doing. I question the more I know, the more I question. The more I grow, the more I question. Like it was easier back then when I first started. Maybe you guys feel the same way. Like when I first started building my business, I thought it was tough, but now that I'm scaling and learning and I know more, I actually question a lot more. You see different things with different perspectives, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't doubt myself, the words that I'm saying, the way I'm saying it, what I'm posting, that will never go away. It will actually grow more, I think. So a lot of us are waiting for doubt to fade to take action and be confident, when I feel like I'm confident because I overcome my doubt every day.